only have one question for you. Who's your Kang now? It may not be Jonathan Majors. Disney has to be absolutely losing their mind at the moment, and I'm here for it. Here we go. Okay, in today's video, we're going to dive right into that rabbit hole. The one that's exploring the recent allegations against the Hollywood actor Jonathan Majors. And for good reason. I mean, he's been charged recently with DV. I'm going to say it that way because it's friendly to all platforms, but we all know what that means. He's also been charged with strangulation, amongst some other things. And that's not even weighing some of the other accusations that have been levied against him recently. All of the major incidents, at least the ones he was arrested for and taken into custody for, happened in March of 2023. So we're going to take a deep dive into this particular case and its recent developments, including some recent alleged testimonies of multiple abuse victims who have come forward to cooperate with the Manhattan District Attorney. And think what you will of that office, but they seem to be right on top of this particular case. Now, let's examine how this scandal could actually affect Major's career, because I think it's going to affect it plenty. And let's see if what myself and Mr. H and of course the folks over at Midnight's Edge have predicted, and see if it's likely to happen, which could be a complete recast that may include, well, change in direction for Phase 5 for Marvel. So let's reset the entire table now, so we have all the information in place to move forward. Jonathan Majors is a PR firm manufactured rising star in Hollywood, of which there have been plenty, most of which don't pan out. He was charged with DV and strangulation in March of 2023, as I mentioned just a moment ago. And of course, this was all because of a alleged altercation with a 30-year-old woman who is reported to be his girlfriend. And all this happened in the Chelsea neighborhood of Manhattan, which is how you end up with the Manhattan DA's office involved. Now, the locations of the alleged abuse happened in a taxi cab, which reportedly is supposed to have some video footage that none of us have seen at this point, although there's an attorney that says it exists, so we'll see. And there's also another location that was a residence where some other activities may have or may have allegedly taken place, depending upon whose reports you believe. Now, in response to all of this, his publicists, which there are two, and his management company, which there is one, have all cut ties with him. Now, his attorney, Mrs. Priya Chaudhry, has insisted that the charges are trumped up or false and that he is 100% completely innocent. It's interesting to note here, and this is something that I think is important, is that the exonerating evidence consists of two text messages being characterized at the moment as, well, statements of, I don't know, innocence. I'm not really sure. But if you've seen those said messages, well, they're far from exculpatory. In fact, I've reviewed them several times on various live streams, and I think in a previous video. And if you're looking for them, they're out there. You can find them on TMZ and many other, obviously, salacious celebrity rant, rag sites, whatever you want to call them. Now, his arrest, sources claim that multiple additional abuse victims have come forward and are cooperating with the Manhattan DA's office, which is insane. This would mark, obviously, a dramatic turn in events. I think it already has marked that dramatic turn in events. This potentially could lead to a lot more serious charges here. He could be on the hook for many, many more violations of law. It would be interesting to see what actually happens with any of that, or if any of these things are just, again, additionally trumped up testimonials, for lack of a better way to putting it. Now, as a result of all of this, Disney is allegedly monitoring the situation closely, given that the alleged victim, his girlfriend, actually worked on the set of Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania, a film which obviously Majors played a key role in as Kang the Conqueror. This is actually supposed to be the big bad guy for the entirety of Phase 5 of the MCU, which, of course, we probably all know. at this point. Now, on-set romances happen. Situations like this do occur. Usually not the kind of interaction that is alleged here. And, well, that could be career affecting, but we'll get there in just a second. Majors had become a prominent figure in Hollywood. Again, a manufactured rising star. Happens all the time. He had several lucrative roles, including some upcoming roles, but some recent ones that made him a lot of money. Didn't make any money in the box office, like Devotion and a few others. But he's supposed to appear in things like Avengers, The Kang Dynasty, and Avengers Secret Wars. He's also starring in this season 2, of Loki, which is actually expected to launch later this summer, in just the next few weeks, as a matter of fact. And obviously, and for good reason, the scandal has put his future in the MCU, well, at serious jeopardy. After all, having your publicist, management company, along with 3 other projects being cut or removed from under you, your outlook, your future looks rather bleak, because it seems like maybe those entities might have more information than we do in the general public. And again, I say, wow, 3 additional projects outside of Disney. What do they know that we don't? That's the pertinent question. I think we should be asking that a lot more often. Now, the scandals also led to Majors stepping down from his role on the board of the Gotham Film and Media Institute. And of course, he's also stepped away from his work with Sidney Poitier's initiative, which was created to support emerging filmmakers. So it's, I don't know, him trying to distance himself from these organizations so they don't have to distance themselves from him. It's never a good look. And of course, I've mentioned Disney's declined to comment on any of this. They don't want anything to do with talking about this situation. They're giving it such wide public berth because they've had a series of missteps with other scandals. And in one sense, it turned out quite negative for them. And in the other sense, well, you end up with Johnny Depp, who makes them look like an idiot. And insiders right now are, of course, speculating that the company may move to distance itself from the actor even further, which makes a lot of sense. Again, given the seriousness of the allegations, how could they not? They actually are supposedly contemplating, and this is, again, not my information, but others, they're supposedly going to cut him completely from any future in Marvel. If you look at those serious allegations, I don't know how you couldn't. I mean, it's kind of bad. And everyone here is now taking cues, well, everyone going forward, I should say, is now taking cues from what Disney's actions will be over the next couple of weeks. Why? Why the next couple of weeks? Why are those so important? Well, let me spell it out for you. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 hits theaters on May 5th. That's really soon. That's, 2 weeks away. This is Disney's last shot this year, and in particular, Marvel's only shot this year, to try and release a billion-dollar winner. Because, let me tell you, the Marvels, that isn't going to be $1 billion. And clearly, Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania was a terrible, terrible flop. They really can't afford 3 consecutive flops in the MCU. It would make all of us commentators here in this space look like, well, the wisest persons in the room. And maybe we are. But they can't afford another massive flop, and they can't have something hanging over their heads that can contribute to that. Negative publicity is bad, no matter what anybody tells you. Why is all of that relevant to May 5th? Well, here's the second part of that. On May 8th, Jonathan Majors will be making his first formal court appearance in regards to this case, beyond his arraignment, of which, obviously, that already occurred. That is not 2 headlines you want next to each other in the paper, in the trade paper, or anywhere else in the news media, because it looks bad. It looks very, very bad. With additional alleged testimonies here, which, obviously I've mentioned, from other victims claiming similar incidents, the impact of those stories could definitely, be rather grim in concerns to Jonathan Majors and maybe other people that are involved with him. And the possibility that additional victims, even more, folks could come forward. This could literally end Major's career if he's actually found guilty in any way, at least according to many sources out there in the world. I would have to agree. He could be in quite a bit of trouble, and it would be a shame because he seems to be a decent actor at times when it comes to any visual presentation. But it's not just something we can saddle with him. Pretty much everything in the MCU recently has been saddled with those same problems. But when you analyze the response from Hollywood insiders, including the decision of Major's publicist, the management company, as I mentioned before, his Met Gala sponsor, all the other productions he's been cut from, some that we just learned about recently. I've counted so far 6 additional things outside of Disney that he's been basically severed from. That's starting to leave little to the imagination about what all of these entities are thinking. At this point, it seems, if not now, when? At least as far as getting rid of him in the MCU, Disney, and other places. Look, I'm going to do my best over the next few weeks to keep following up on this story. Again, 2 weeks from now, it'll be probably one of the things I report on the week of the 8th. And I'm also working on an additional story right now about Disney abandoning its wholesome roots and the American family overall, and just diving headlong into the new neo-Marxism that, well, kind of jives with this new authoritarian thing that they dig. Regardless, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And until next time, bye.
Today, be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.